The All Progressive Congress, APC in Adamawa, says it will appeal the court ruling nullifying the party's primary, which produced Aisha Binani as its governorship candidate. A federal high court in Yola on Friday nullified the APC governorship primary. Now, in a judgment delivered on Friday, the court also declared that there will be no candidate for the APC in the state for the 2023 elections. Supporters of the governorship candidate of the All Progressive Congress in Adamawa, Senator Aisha Binani, on Wednesday took over the streets of Yola to protest the nullification of the primaries that produced Senator Binani. The supporters said the peaceful protest was to reaffirm their support for Binani.
On Friday last week, a federal high court one in Yola, presided over by Justice Abdulaziz Anka, held in his judgment that the APC has no candidate for the 2023 governorship in Adamawa State. The judge held that the nomination of Senator Aisha Binani was in clear contravention of Section 85 of the Electoral Act because there was manifest overvoting during the process. Meanwhile, on Wednesday, hundreds of supporters of the Adamawa Central Senator protested what they describe as the marginalization of women by politicians and political parties.
It's time to say that Senator Binani's mandate is not thwarted through the back door. Binani's mandate is a mandate for every woman, and all women should arise to protect the mandate. Inasmuch as we are law-abiding and respect our court of law, we are calling on the higher court to do justice in the case without fear or favor.
The supporters, majority of them women, call on women to consider Binani's case as one of their own by leading their voices toward ensuring her success in the appeal court.
Binani is the only woman candidate, governorship candidate in Nigeria, and now they are trying to turn it upside down, that she's not going to contest again. It's not proper. They should allow women also, because it's the women that did everything. We are the one that helps the men in time of campaign and everything. It's only the women that you can see everywhere, and the youth. We help them to do campaign, we bring them to the seat. But when it comes to the time of a woman to contest an election, they will say she's a woman, she cannot do this, she cannot do that. It's not proper. It's not proper.
They also urged the All Progressive Congress to ensure justice is for Binani.
The Progressive Congress should also stand by Binani because recent events have proven that she is the only candidate to bid in the Adamawa governorship election come 2023. She is already offering the dynamics and rattling the political space. Binani is the beginning of catching strategy in Adamawa.
Senator Binani, however, appealed to her supporters not to lose their voting rights by destroying their permanent voter cards ahead of the 2023 general election because of the court ruling. From Yola, Salihulawan, Trust TV News.
That's a quite very interesting report. Now we have to react to Adamawa politics. The State Organizing Secretary, APC Adamawa, Mustafa Atiku Ribadu. Good morning and welcome to Daybreak.
Thank you very much.
Well, you've seen that very interesting report and, the protests by mostly women, on the streets of Yola. What is your reaction to that?
First and foremost, as a party, we are proud of seeing our supporters, who I can say organic supporters. That's to tell the whole world how strong the APC is in Adamawa State. All those people you saw on the streets, they are of APC. And they felt that saying APC does not have a candidate, they can take it. And you can see the emotions are high because they can't imagine, even myself, on Friday, I nearly shed tears because I can't imagine going to 2023 election without a gubernatorial candidate. Because it is the most important seat in the state or in all the states. And as people of Adamawa State, as APC faithfuls, we think somehow maybe the court is not fair to us. That's the thinking, and that's the thinking of the ordinary person on the street in Yola or in Adamawa State. They felt that as if the court were to subchange us. That's our thinking, even though they said the law is blind. But saying that we cannot have a candidate, all of us are affected. And people who are outside Adamawa State may be thinking Adamawa is a PDP state, and maybe majority of people in Adamawa State are of the PDP, especially we haven't presidential candidate of the PDP in Adamawa State. But the reality is Adamawa State is more of an APC state. And even during 2019 elections, we had some internal wranglings, internal problems here and there. That's why we lost the gubernatorial election in Adamawa State. But ordinary persons on the street in Adamawa State, majority of them are of the APC. And we have seen that judgment as maybe it's more of a sabotage or it's a miscarriage of justice. But God so kind, we have room for appeal. And the party, and I think, and the candidate have already appealed that judgment. And God willing, we are going to have a better judgment. The APC, in our own thinking, must participate because it's a greater opportunity for us to outstretch the PDP government in Adamawa State. And voting for a governor in a state, we used to tell people it's very important because when you vote for a governor and you succeeded, it's not only the governor you have voted for. You have voted for about maybe 21 commissioners. You have voted for about 21 local government council chairmen. You have voted for so many chairmen of board and parastatals. You have voted for so many special assistants, special advisors, and so many. So this is a seat that I think the people of Adamawa State cannot take for granted. And we have been working long time ago to see that how can we have our supporters in one single fight who can support us without even spending so much resources. In Adamawa State, we don't need so much resources. We don't need to spend a lot of resources to win 2023 election. As far as the APC is concerned, and the lapses of the current PDP government, especially in terms of poor management of human resources, in terms of maybe governance. So the APC is on ground, but saying that the APC cannot have a candidate completely, I think we can't.
Mr. Ibadu, without breaking into your thoughts, when I listen to you, and I'm sure a number of persons at home listen to you, you would think that it was the Supreme Court versus the APC or the PDP versus the APC. This appears like a self-inflicted injury. It's a crisis in the APC. The condition upon the pronouncement was a manifest dislocation in the numbers of, you had more votings than was accredited. So that was an internal crisis. It wasn't something that was inflicted from the outside. Could you possibly, maybe for the man on the street would not understand that, but could you possibly have shifted the blame away from what you did in your primaries?
Yeah, I agree. I'm a realist, and I must agree that it's a self-inflicted injury from the party or within the party. During that primary election on the 26th of May, I think, I was at the venue, and I was part of the local organizing committee. As the member of the local organizing committee, we have a special committee that came from Abuja and who are saddled with the responsibility of conducting that primaries. We are more of ad hoc staff to them. And I have, as a person, I have tried as much as I could that time to avert so many crises that may emanate from the conduct of the primaries, especially when we have a local government, Lamodo local government, which we have some issues about the special delegate election. I told the special committee who came from Abuja, headed by Alaji Gambolawan, that let us not allow Lamodo local government to vote in that election, because as far as INEC is concerned, they did not monitor their delegate election. And God so kind, the chairman of the resident electoral commissioner of Adamawa State, Barrister Gaidam, was there, he was present, and I met him. I asked him, what about Lamurde? What is the opinion of INEC about Lamurde? He said Lamurde cannot vote because as far as they are concerned, they did not monitor any election in Lamurde, and that delegate election. And nothing like such took place in Lamurde. And I told the committee, let us not allow Lamurde. I have been running helter-skelter during the primaries, especially when they call Lamurde to come and vote. But somehow, maybe some people may be thinking you are up for a mischief, or you don't want some particular people to vote, but they overpowered us. And they said Lamurde must vote. That's one. Number two, after the election, when we realized that there's overvoting, and at that primaries, we realized that some people were disenfranchised. They did not vote at that primaries. I met some of the agents of the 6 gubernatorial aspirants. We spoke at length. I told them, look, there's problem in this election. And overvoting is fundamental as far as election is concerned. And there's two, if we are talking about overvoting, there's difference between overvoting in primaries and that of general election. Because in general election, you have a number of polling units. Like in Adamawa State, we have over 4,000 polling units presently. If you have problems in some few or packets of polling units, you may cancel that election of that polling unit and you sum up the rest, and you get the required number of votes, the required number of valid votes, so that somebody can be emerged as the winner. In the case of primaries, we have only one polling unit, especially when indirect primaries is being used, like what took place in Adamawa State. It's what indirect primaries, that is delegate. When there was overvoting, after announcing the results, which the chairman of that committee confessed himself, the result sheet, the result was written boldly, 1,000, we have 1,130 delegates in Adamawa State.
Accredited delegates?
No, the number of delegates.
Total delegates, yeah.
Total accredited, we have 1,009.
Okay.
Total vote casted, 1,011. So you cannot say Nigeria can be bigger than Africa. So from that time, as the chairman of that committee, in my opinion, you should cancel that election. But in case he did not cancel, he announced that result. The next thing that should be done is to devise some internal mechanism to, because you cannot, you cannot just go to court.
It looks like I would have to hang you there because time is running out and would have to move quickly. I think we'll have to invite you over again, you know, to talk about this in the future.
I'm happy you disclosed to us that you are taking the court option. We will be following that development and we will see the cases that you will plead before the appeal. We are not going to take our eye away. We are all interested in having a lady, you know, stand in the election, but that is up to you.
In our own case, we want APC to be on the ballot paper.
Thank you very much.
In that case, we want a lady.
Thank you very much. We've been talking.
Okay. As long as it is on the ballot paper, we are comfortable.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ribadu, for showing up in the studio and providing your own side of the explanation to what had happened on Friday. Unfortunately for our viewers and for us, we are not in control of time. The time is fast spent on this program. We have to move on so that we are on schedules for other interesting packages that we have lined up for you on Trust TV. Thank you very much for showing up in the studio, and I wish you a wonderful weekend ahead.